Well, you see, obviously the mission gave a lot of things to the crews of ships that were far away from home, and so many aspects of their lives were touched. For me, probably the biggest contribution made to the lives of visiting crews of ships was the work of the Harbour Lights Guild. These remarkable women of a variety of ages who gave of their time and their energies to be kind of hostesses to those sailors who came to visit the mission, not only as partners for the dancers, but in all sorts of other ways. And I say that I think that they were the heart of the place. Well, I think that they did wonders. They were just the best people. They also taught me to dance. I'd never been a dancer before, and Bernice Kennett it was. She taught me to dance. She said, come on to the floor. And I said, I've never danced in my life. She said, you're going to tonight. Well, on Sundays, the great event of Sundays was that at 2:30 in the afternoon, the mission bus, which was what we would call a charabanc, a strange vehicle with doors all down one side, would be filled with crews from the ship, and we would take them for a trip up to the Dandenongs, spend the whole afternoon showing them the scenery of the Dandenongs, and get to the top of Mount Dandenong where they would see the view of the city. Then we would come back down and we would arrive at the mission, where we would be joined by other sailors from ships that were in port, and we would have a huge tea, for a sit-down meal for them, consisting of cold meat and salad, and fruit salad and ice cream, served by the dear Harbour Lights Guild, who laboured heavily and waited on the tables and made sure that everybody had a good time. And then when the meal was over, Padre Oliver would call for silence, and he would explain that there would be a church service in about 20 minutes, and that although they weren't required to attend, that it probably would be a good idea to attend. And then the ladies would remove all the plates and cutlery from the table, and then Padre Oliver and I think Mr. George Stafford, who had been a policeman, would organise all the men present, which would be up to 200 men probably there, to get up, dismantle all the tables, and then form a crocodile or a chain, passing chairs and tables to be stacked under the stage for the next time. I mean, it was a military operation.
We probably were away at sea all of that time for about 6 months, and we had a month's leave at the end of that, and usually we went back to the same ship after our leave, and so all our shipmates were well known to us, and we all had an interest in doing the best job we could. And that all really changed when containerisation came in. Around about the 1960s and 1970s, the change in the methodology of ships loading and discharging cargo changed dramatically over that 20-30 year period.
And the moment they hit port, we were there ready for them to be a listening ear, to be a support, particularly in times when they knew that there were problems with family at home, long way away, and we were there to listen, to support, and to help wherever we could, to give them a place of refuge in the city, because every city has its dangers, and a place where they could relax and enjoy themselves, come to a dance, go to the pictures, go to the canteen, just have human company, and also supporting it all a spiritual aspect, not just because of the church chapel services, but because the chaplains and staff were here obviously to represent Christ, really, and to be for them what we feel Christ should be. Not to try and proselytise or make them into anything else that they were not, but rather to show the face of love and support and acceptance. The main thing was acceptance of who they were, that I think that the mission stood for, and I hope still does.
And so my experience with the mission to Seafarers went back to those first days when I went to sea in 1955. And it was pretty much recognised that the mission was your home away from home. We didn't earn much money, but we always knew that we could find a friendly face and some comfort and friendship in the mission with the chaplain and other volunteers wherever we went. And that was not only in Australia, New Zealand and America, but in places like Japan, Indonesia, India. Wherever we went, there was always a mission to Seafarers, and they were always very, very helpful, and we were always pleased to be involved with what their work was. And later on in life, around about the late 1990s, we came to settle in Melbourne, and I then got involved with the mission to Seafarers here in Melbourne back in 1999-2000, and it's been a wonderful experience, and very exciting times for us now, and the whole world is changing, the shipping industry, and I think the missions to Seafarers and the other welfare agencies do as much work now as they ever had, and they always will have to.
In the old days, of course, we had them often ships in port for weeks on end. But so it has to be done in a different way, as I noticed things like computers and so forth being made available for them and so forth. Just a different way of operating, that's all. Same program.